Hey everyone, it's Camber here with Yo Pros in the Know. Thanks for joining us today. We are here today with Stacy Mailer, a career coach and resume writer in Miami, Florida. She's 29 years old, and we're excited to have her on the video series and podcast today. So thanks so much for being here, Stacy.
Excited to be here, Camber.
So let's go ahead and just dive right in. Give us a background on you, so where you're from, what you're currently doing, and then we will dive into the details.
Okay, awesome. So I am from South Florida, born and raised. Grew up in Fort Lauderdale. I went to school at University of Florida in Gainesville, and then stuck around in Gainesville for a couple of years. Eventually, I decided to transition down to Miami. And last year, I actually just completed my MBA from the University of Florida, which was a huge help in kind of transitioning throughout my career from graduating, moving into sales, from advertising, a little bit of real estate, recruiting, and now career coaching.
Great. That's a great recap. Thank you. So let's talk more about what you're doing today and how you feel like the things that you've done in the past 5-6 years have prepared you for that.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing for me, how I kind of got to where I am, is I was doing recruiting for Northwestern Mutual up in Gainesville, and I thought I was very good at it, but I had a problem because I had these jobs to fill and I had these awesome candidates, and sometimes the candidates were awesome, but they didn't fill the job that I was looking for. And so that's when I kind of decided maybe I need to get on the other side of this. So while I was still working at Northwestern Mutual, I was doing career talks on campus, working with different student groups, teaching them about resume writing, cover letters, interviews, things like that. But when I decided to move back to Miami and pursue my MBA, that's when I decided to launch my own business and kind of get on the candidate side and help people get where they want to go.
Great. And can you talk more about the process of starting your own business and what that entails for those of us, who are interested in doing something like that?
Absolutely. So starting your own business is not an easy feat. I feel like all the time people are like thinking that they have these great ideas, starting them and just running with it. But I did a lot of reading and a lot of talking to other people before I decided to venture out on my own. And the biggest thing that I learned before starting my own business is that you really need to have a problem that you're solving, not just selling a service. So exactly like what I was saying before, the problem that I found was at Northwestern Mutual when I had these awesome people who knew where they wanted to go, but just needed help getting there, whether it was writing resumes, giving them some more advice with where they should be applying, mock interview help, things like that. And so what I did is like I mentioned, decided to start the business because I had the problem. I came up with a name, got it trademarked, incorporated. I made myself a real business, not just a name, logo, and Venmo with a real PayPal account. I pay taxes and everything. But when you start your own business, I recommend getting it started the right way. And that's setting up all those processes and getting everything started like a legitimate business. Even if when you're getting started, even if it's only a little bit of a side or passive income, just to get started on the right foot.
Yeah, starting on the right foot is great. And I think the key thing that I pulled away from that is you start something because you want to solve a problem, not just because you're trying to provide a service. And I think that's the key differentiator between a lot of people who have success and who fail at starting their own business. So I think that's great advice. Can you talk about a hardship that you've had since you started this profession?
A hardship that I've had. There's definitely been some challenges along the way. One of the biggest challenges that, honestly, I would say, was because you mentioned the challenges of starting your own business, is the differentiator between wanting to help people and getting people to pay for your services. And that goes anywhere from helping out like friends and family or people that are semi-friends or just clients that, you're new in your business and you haven't really built that credibility up yet. So I think the biggest hardship is trying to get people to pay you and kind of build that credibility. And so what I did a lot at first, truthfully, is I did a lot of pro bono work. And I was just helping people and it was really working. and I just had my pedal to the metal, getting as much done as humanly possible. And then eventually I realized, like, wait a second, I can charge for this. This is working. People are getting jobs, they're getting promotions, they're getting into graduate school. And so that's when I kind of had that aha shifting moment. But definitely the biggest hardship is trying to build a credibility and convince yourself to get other people to pay you.
Mm-hmm. Convincing yourself, I think, is the hardest part. I
Yeah.
understand that. Um, all right. So can you talk about your day-to-day now as a career consultant, coach, and resume writer?
Absolutely. So day to day, no 2 days are the same. My schedule is a little bit all over the place. I never liked having a 9 to 5 check-in job. As you could see, I'm in my office, aka my apartment, and each day is a little bit different. So each day is a mix of writing resumes, doing mock interviews, having consultation calls, just 10-15 minute connects to see if I'm the right fit to help somebody, or anything in between. So that's editing statements, editing things, final versions, answering emails, things like that. But it's all about, when I talk with people initially, figure out where they want to go and build them the package in between. And then my day to day is just getting those tasks done to help my clients get where they want to go.
Okay, great. One thing that I think a lot of people will be interested in hearing, specifically as we are, continuing throughout this pandemic in COVID-19, what are you telling people, who come to you and their plans have changed? And so they're, drastically looking to switch up their resume. Maybe their plans have changed because of COVID. What would you say to those people about the career search process?
Well, first of all, when it comes to the changes, I think that sometimes getting a little kick is the best thing, and what a lot of candidates definitely need, what a lot of my clients definitely need. And especially nowadays with COVID, with a lot of people wanting to get into different industries, or unfortunately losing their jobs and having to kind of go elsewhere. I think sometimes it could be a blessing in disguise. I've actually worked with a lot of people during this time who were really upset when they got furloughed and then eventually laid off, and have since found even better roles with better companies and better cultures. So what I would tell a lot of the people who are kind of frustrated and unsure and confused is that there's so many more things out there. And even if you did love your job or you loved where you were at, there are other opportunities. The world is not ending. And sometimes getting the opportunity to take a step back and see what else is out there is a really good thing.
Yeah, I love that. When one door closes, another door opens. Like, this is not the end of the world. And I think for a lot of younger professionals, like the younger professionals, so like straight out of school, it's hard. I know a lot of people who are, fresh out of college and their plans have changed. And so they're going into their first career where, what door was closed before, you know what I mean? So they're in this different place, I think, than somebody who's 24 like me or 29 like you. They're in a little bit of a different place because they're going into this completely new workplace that is shifting drastically. So how do you help people with that?
So when it comes to that, again, it's all about being adaptable. Whether you're just coming out of college and now you're starting a new role in a new environment. I work with up to people who are, 40 plus years old, who have been in the normal workforce for years and years and years, who now have to adjust to the online meetings and the online situations and remote work. And so again, what I kind of just implore to people is just that the only constant in life is change. And so even though you might not be going into the office and shaking somebody's hand and, talking around the water cooler, this really could be a great chance because you might get more work done. You might get to interact with more people. And truthfully, the opportunity to have Zoom and Skype and, other video conference meetings has made it more efficient for more people to connect with more people.
Absolutely. I think it's a key point to just being adaptable in any industry, like not just people who are looking at switching jobs and utilizing your service. It's applicable to everyone who's listening to this and and viewing this. So thank you for that. So I'm mindful of time. So my last question for you, and then I'll let people know how they can find you and, you know, utilize your services. But what is something that drives you? What motivates you?
So what motivates me is, this is like my mantra. I want to help people get where they want to go. I've been very fortunate in my life and in my career to have a ton of awesome mentors and a lot of people that have kind of just given me advice and help and courtesy along the way. And so what drives me is helping people get where they are to where they want to go. So whether that's getting into a graduate school program or changing jobs or just getting a promotion, whatever it is, I love hearing success stories, and I want to bridge that gap to help people really get where they want to go.
Awesome. And one thing that just triggered my memory that I always share at the beginning, how I know somebody and how I was connected to somebody. And when you mentioned mentor, I thought of Lindsay, who's my mentor that connected Stacy and I. So I just wanted to share that with the listeners today, that, you know, at the end of the day, everyone is interconnected, and that's how Stacy and I got connected. So I just wanted to share that. So thank you again for your time today, Stacy. I want to leave everyone with the opportunity to connect with you if that's something that they're interested in. So how can people find you?
Absolutely. So I could be found on LinkedIn, as the two of us are connected. So you can search through Canvas Connections. Also through my website, nextlevelcareercoach.com, spelled exactly as it sounds, or through email, Stacy, STACY, at nextlevelcareercoach.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for your time today, Stacy. We've loved having you on Yo Pros in the Know.
Awesome. Thanks. It was great to be here.